Have you ever heard the phrase, thoughts create reality, and just rolled your eyes? I used to. It sounds like something from a self-help book, a flimsy platitude that's easy to say but impossible to prove. It feels like a beautiful dream but not a practical reality. We live in a world of deadlines, bills, and traffic jams, not magical thinking. But what if the magic isn't magic at all? What if it's just physics? The same kind of physics that powers your phone and keeps satellites in orbit? What if the universe isn't some distant, unfeeling machine, but a dynamic, responsive field, and your consciousness is a key part of it? The idea that our thoughts can influence our reality isn't new. It's been whispered in ancient philosophies and hinted at in spiritual teachings for centuries. But for a long time, science and spirituality were seen as two completely different conversations. One dealt with cold, hard facts, the other with faith and belief. They were never meant to meet, until we started looking at the very, very small, the subatomic, the quantum. And what we found there completely changed the rules of the game. It's here, in the weird, unpredictable world of quantum mechanics, that we find the surprising and very real scientific basis for something we call manifestation. It's not about wishing on a star, it's about understanding the fabric of reality itself. And once you understand the simple rules, it becomes a lot less mysterious and a lot more inevitable. To really get this, we need to forget everything we think we know about the world. We see a chair, we think it's solid. We see a wall, we know we can't walk through it. This is our classical Newtonian world, a world of cause and effect, where everything is predictable. It's the world of tennis balls and planets. But if you zoom in way in past the atoms, past the protons and neutrons, you get to a place where things stop making sense. You get to the quantum realm. Here, particles aren't just tiny specks of matter. They're often described as waves of potential. A quantum particle doesn't have a single location. It exists in a state of superposition, occupying all possible locations at once. This is the famous wave-particle duality. It's only when a consciousness, an observer, looks at it, when we measure it, that this wave of potential collapses into a single definite reality. The particle chooses a position, seemingly out of thin air. This isn't a spiritual theory. It's a fundamental principle of quantum mechanics, proven over and over again in labs around the world. The very act of observation changes reality. So let's connect the dots. If the smallest building blocks of everything, you, me, the chair, the planet, are all in a state of potential until observed, what happens when we apply that principle to our lives? What if our thoughts, our consciousness, are the observers that are collapsing a universe of possibilities into the specific reality we experience? It's a bold question, I know, but it's also the most logical bridge between what we've been told about manifestation and what modern science is telling us about the universe. The simple truth is this: your consciousness isn't just a passenger in your body, it's a co-creator of your world. So, how do we go from a theoretical physics concept to changing our daily lives? The bridge is our brain. Our brains are not just processing units, they are incredible receivers and broadcasters. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, sends out a specific electrical and magnetic signal. This is a scientific fact. We can literally measure these signals with things like EEG machines. When you think a thought, your brain produces a measurable frequency. When you feel a strong emotion like gratitude or joy, your heart produces an even stronger electromagnetic field. This is where the magic, or again the physics, happens. The universe isn't just a random collection of particles. It's a massive, interconnected energy field. Everything in it is vibrating at a specific frequency. Think of it like an ocean of possibility. When you broadcast a specific thought or emotion, you're sending a signal out into that ocean. And like a tuning fork, the universe resonates with what you send out. It's not an instant, magical delivery system. It's more like a feedback loop. Your thoughts and feelings create a certain vibration, and the universe, in turn, reflects back a reality that is in vibrational harmony with that signal. This is the very essence of quantum manifestation. It's not about wishing for a new car and hoping it appears. It's about cultivating the feeling and the vibration of already having that car. It's about becoming a match for the reality you desire. The universe doesn't respond to your wants, it responds to your state of being. And your state of being is a direct reflection of your dominant thoughts and emotions. The most profound realization is that you are not powerless. You are not a passive observer. You are an active participant, constantly shaping the reality around you with every single thought you entertain. Okay, so the theory is compelling. Our thoughts and feelings broadcast a frequency, and the universe responds. But if it's that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? Why isn't everyone manifesting their dream life? The reason is a lot simpler and more challenging than you might think. Resistance. We have a lifetime of habits, beliefs, and deeply ingrained thought patterns that act as static in our broadcast signal. You might spend 10 minutes in the morning thinking positive, hopeful thoughts, but then the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of the day you're worrying about bills, replaying old arguments, and feeling a sense of lack. Imagine your consciousness as a radio station. You tune into a station playing beautiful, inspiring music for a few minutes, but then you immediately switch back to a station blasting static and negative news. Which station is going to dominate your listening experience? Your brain, a magnificent survival machine, is hardwired to focus on problems and potential threats. This is a leftover from our hunter-gatherer days. Back then, being a warrior meant you were more likely to survive. But in our modern world, this constant vigilance becomes a self-sabotaging loop. It's what keeps us stuck. The key to quantum manifestation isn't to force yourself to be positive all the time, which is both exhausting and impossible. The key is to start shifting your dominant vibration. It's about slowly, deliberately, and consistently changing the frequency you're broadcasting. It's about building a new habit of thought that becomes more powerful than the old habit of worry. This is the difference between simply wanting something and becoming a match for it. It's a process of internal alignment where your thoughts, feelings, and intentions all begin to point in the same direction. And that's a power no one can take away from you. So, let's talk about a practical, actionable tool you can use right now. Your emotions. For most of us, emotions are just things that happen to us. We get angry, we get sad, we get happy. We're reacting to our circumstances. But what if we flip that around? What if emotions weren't a response to reality, but a way to create it? This is the most profound and simple secret of quantum manifestation. Your emotions are not a result of your life. They are the cause of it. They are the true frequency broadcasters. Think of it this way. A thought is a wish you whisper to the universe. An emotion is the shout. Emotions carry 1,000 times more energetic weight than a simple thought. When you feel joy, gratitude, love, or inspiration, you are not just having a nice moment. You are sending a powerful, high-frequency signal out into the cosmos. You're telling the universe, this is what I want more of. This is what I'm a vibrational match for. This is why a simple gratitude practice isn't just about feeling better. It's about actively tuning your radio station to the frequency of abundance. This is also why chasing happiness is a losing game. You can't wait for the new job, the new relationship, or the new house to make you feel happy. That's putting the cart before the horse. The quantum reality is that you must first generate the feeling of happiness, joy, and gratitude in your body, and only then will your life begin to reorganize itself to reflect that feeling back to you. The key isn't to think your way to a better life, it's to feel your way to it. This simple shift from reacting to creating is the single most powerful change you can make. Alright, let's get specific. You want to manifest a new job. Your brain immediately says, I need to update my resume, send out 50 applications, and hope for the best. And yes, those are important, practical steps. But quantum manifestation tells us to start in a completely different place. It tells us to start with the feeling. Instead of focusing on the lack of a job, you need to step into the feeling of having it. What does it feel like to wake up on a Monday morning, excited to go to work? What does it feel like to be valued by your colleagues? What does it feel like to receive that paycheck? Close your eyes and genuinely feel those emotions in your body. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction. Spend just a few minutes every day doing this, not as a wish, but as a mental rehearsal. You're not just fantasizing. You're literally creating the energetic template for that reality to show up. This is the part that most people miss, and it's why so many quit. They try to think positively, but their feelings are still broadcasting fear and scarcity. Remember, the universe responds to your dominant emotional state. So your job isn't to find a job. Your job is to become the person who already has it. Act as if, walk as if, speak as if. When you do this, you're not faking it until you make it. You're tuning yourself to a new frequency. And when you are a vibrational match, the opportunities, the people, and the circumstances you need to make it happen will begin to show up in the most surprising and synchronistic ways. The biggest hurdle we face isn't just our own negative thinking. It's our deeply ingrained belief that the world is a fixed, predictable place. We've been taught to believe in a linear reality. A leads to B and B leads to C. You work hard, you get a raise. You study for the test, you get a good grade. And while that's true in a practical sense, it's not the whole story. In the quantum world, reality isn't a solid, fixed line. It's more like a field of infinite, parallel possibilities. Every choice you could possibly make, every outcome that could possibly happen, already exists in a state of potential. Think of it like a library full of every book that could ever be written. Your consciousness, your focused attention and emotion, is like the librarian who pulls one specific book off the shelf and starts reading it. You are literally collapsing a wave of potential into a single, observable reality. This is why trying to manifest doesn't work. The very act of trying implies a state of lack. You're trying to get something you don't have. And what does the universe respond to? Your dominant vibration. So when you try, you're actually broadcasting a signal of, I don't have this, so I have to work hard to get it. The quantum world doesn't respond to effort. It responds to alignment. It's about becoming a match for the book you want to read, and letting the universe hand it to you. The key to this entire process is to stop trying to force outcomes and start aligning with the feeling that the outcome is not just possible, but already real. Okay, let's get real for a moment. This all sounds great, but what about the bad stuff? What about the times when you feel depressed, anxious, or angry? Are you just manifesting more of that? The honest answer is yes. But here's the crucial part. It's not your fault and you're not broken. These emotions are not a sign of failure. They are simply feedback. They're telling you what frequency you're currently broadcasting on. The biggest mistake people make is to try to suppress these feelings. They feel a wave of anxiety and immediately try to force themselves to think happy thoughts. But that's like putting a lid on a boiling pot. The pressure just builds. The quantum world responds not to what you pretend to feel, but to what you genuinely feel. Suppressing an emotion just amplifies its power. Instead, the real work is to acknowledge these feelings without judgment. Say to yourself, okay, I feel fear right now. That's my current vibration. The key is to use this awareness as a starting point, not an end point. You don't have to stay there. You can gently begin to shift your focus. Instead of fighting the fear, you can simply choose a different thought. It could be something as simple as, I am safe right now, or I am grateful for this one thing. This isn't about denying your feelings. It's about giving your consciousness a new place to land. It's about slowly, patiently, and compassionately changing the channel from one of struggle to one of peace. The journey of quantum manifestation is not about perfection. It's about persistence and self-compassion. The biggest myth about quantum manifestation is that it's passive, that you just sit on the couch, think positive thoughts, and wait for your life to change. That couldn't be further from the truth. The universe isn't a magical genie in a bottle. It's a co-creative partner, and your physical actions are just as important as your internal alignment. The real power comes when your internal state, the feeling of already having what you desire, is in perfect harmony with your external actions. This is called inspired action. When you're truly aligned with your goal, taking action doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a natural, joyful next step. You'll find yourself effortlessly drawn to the right opportunities. You might suddenly feel the urge to call a specific person, or you might accidentally stumble upon a website that changes everything. These aren't coincidences. They are the universe responding to your frequency by providing you with the next logical step. The action flows naturally from the feeling, not from a place of desperation or forcing. This is the key to why the process feels so simple yet so few people do it. Most of us are trying to take action from a place of lack. We're frantically applying for jobs because we need money, not because we feel a sense of abundance and purpose. When you take action from a place of abundance, from the feeling of already having it, the action itself feels different. It's guided, effortless, and powerful. Your job is not to force the door open, but to become a match for what's on the other side, and then walk through it with grace and certainty when it appears. One of the most powerful and often overlooked aspects of this entire process is the role of the past. For many of us, our current reality is a direct reflection of old stories we've been telling ourselves for years. I'm not good enough. I'll never be successful. Life is a struggle. These aren't just thoughts. They are deeply ingrained emotional patterns that have been broadcasting a specific frequency for a long time. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, has been faithfully giving us more of what we've been asking for. The beautiful, liberating truth is that you can change the story. You don't have to keep broadcasting from the past. You have the power in this very moment to choose a new frequency. This isn't about ignoring your past or pretending it didn't happen. It's about acknowledging it and then consciously, deliberately choosing a new direction. Think of it like a river that's been flowing in one direction for years, carving a deep rut in the land. It takes effort to reroute a river, but it's absolutely possible. And once the new path is carved, the flow becomes natural and effortless. This is what true forgiveness and self-compassion are for. They aren't just spiritual concepts. They are practical tools for clearing the static from your broadcast. When you forgive yourself for past mistakes or forgive others for the pain they caused, you're not letting them off the hook. You're liberating yourself from the low-frequency emotion of resentment, which has been holding you in a loop. You're giving yourself permission to start broadcasting a new signal, one of freedom and possibility right now. The final piece of the puzzle, and perhaps the most powerful, is the concept of surrender. This is where most people get tripped up. They work so hard to align their thoughts and feelings, they take inspired action, and then nothing. They fall back into the old pattern of worrying. When is it going to happen? Why isn't it here yet? This worry, this need to control the how and the when, is the ultimate form of resistance. It's the universe's equivalent of constantly checking if a package has arrived 2 minutes after you ordered it. True surrender is the act of doing your internal work, getting aligned with the feeling of your desire, and then letting go. It's trusting that the universe, with its infinite intelligence, knows the best and most efficient way to deliver your reality. You don't need to micromanage the process. In fact, trying to force a specific outcome is the fastest way to block it. When you're in a state of surrender, you're not giving up. You're simply getting out of your own way. You're acknowledging that your human mind, with its limited perspective, can't possibly see all the synchronistic paths that are available. This is the state of flow. It's a place of deep trust and certainty. You know it's coming. You don't know when and you don't know how, but you have an unwavering faith that it is inevitable. And in that state of trust, you are broadcasting a signal so clear and so powerful that the universe can't help but respond. This is why manifestation can be so simple, yet nobody does it. It requires a level of trust that goes against everything we've been taught. It requires us to release control and simply allow. So, we come to the end of our journey. We started with a skeptical eye, questioning if our thoughts could truly create reality. We've seen that it's not a magical spell, but a principle of quantum mechanics. We discovered that the universe is not a distant, unfeeling place, but a responsive field of potential. And we've learned that our consciousness, our thoughts, and most importantly, our emotions are the tools we use to collapse that potential into our personal reality. The simple truth is this: you are constantly manifesting. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator of it. You may be manifesting a reality you don't want, but the good news is you can just as easily begin to manifest one that you do. It's not about being perfect or being positive all the time. It's about becoming aware of the frequency you're broadcasting and then, with intention and gentle persistence, choosing to change the channel. The journey of quantum manifestation isn't about acquiring things. It's about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about letting go of fear, cultivating self-love, and trusting the infinite wisdom of the universe. It's about realizing that you don't have to struggle to get what you want, because you are already a part of the abundant whole. When you understand this, the simple act of living becomes an incredible, co-creative dance with the cosmos. And that, my friends, is why it's so simple, yet nobody does it.